Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. On today's video, we're going to explore what it actually costs to live in Southwest Florida. For about $350,000, they'll build you a brand new house in a very decent neighborhood. But a lot of people want to go below that. How far down can you go on your price before you end up in a bad neighborhood? We're going to show you what it costs to live in Southwest Florida. So in the Buckingham area, on a quarter-acre lot, for about $350,000, you get this, a very nice newer house built. And like always, no association disclaimer, personal opinion disclaimer. We're not associated with these builders or anybody. We're just showing you guys what it actually costs to buy property in Southwest Florida. So here's the piece of land that we own in Lee County, Florida. We bought it for $17,500, and I did a lot of work to it. As you can see, it's pretty much a little tropical jungle. It's about a quarter-acre lot, and I've done a lot to fix it up and make it look like a little tropical garden. I came through here with a bobcat that had a mulcher, and I pretty much cleared. One of my friends in Naples is moving, and he gave me a bunch of these kind of vines that grow on trees, so I tried to strap some of these to the tree, and hopefully some of them will take off. And there's a lot of palm trees on my lot. My loquat tree is not looking too good. Sugar cane right here looking all right. Cuban palm trees on each corner of the first papaya, which somehow hasn't been eaten by raccoons, possums, and armadillos. And this is about what you get for $25,000 after it's been cleared, or about $17,000 before you clear it. Do people try to get more money for it? Absolutely. There's a lot right across from mine that's not cleared, and they're trying to get $30,000 for it. Are they going to get it? Probably not. So definitely for under $20,000, you can buy a piece of land and turn it into your own little paradise while you dream about building a house one day. And that's what me and Katie are currently doing. We own this piece of land, and we're just dreaming about one day having a home built here. So I bought my empty lot. There's an empty lot next to it, and then there's this. This is going up basically 2 lots away from my house. I don't really want to have neighbors, but it's nice to know that the houses that are being built adjacent to my property are kind of more nice homes. A home like this, you can see there's an older house right behind it. Something like that will run you about $250,000. To me, that seems like a lot of money for a house that's really, well, nothing special, but it is in an up-and-coming neighborhood.
I got new shoes.
You got new shoes?
Yeah.
So for now, all we can do is dream that someday my little tropical garden will have a little home sitting in the middle. And everything that we're looking at is in the Lehigh Buckingham area. Quarter-acre lot right there where that electrical post is. It's just listed for $40,000. Now there is a school bus stop in front of it, but $40,000 for a quarter-acre lot, about half a mile away from where my lot is, that's a lot of money. Now, knowing that I bought my lot for about $17,000 and seeing that other lots are going for $40,000, $30,000, nobody's got those prices yet, but they're out there asking for it. If my lot were to bring in that kind of money, especially since I cleared it, I put some plants, I made it look pretty, I would actually consider selling it, however, because I've considered doing a cross-country trip in the summer, and I think it's going to take about $16,000 to $20,000 to do that. Now, that's not a travel trip. That is an investment into my YouTube channel, and it sounds like a lot, but the way I look at it is my lot hasn't made me any money since I bought it, but my YouTube channel has made me a crap load of money, so it almost makes more sense to kind of invest into what is making me money, and not something that's just sitting there so far hasn't made me any. The way that I look at it, if it's like this: if you're a single guy and all you have is a cat, you could probably move into a bad neighborhood. But if you got a family and kids, and especially like our social media life like we do, then it's really difficult to live in crappy neighborhoods. Not because I care, because I really don't care, but because of the crap you have to deal with from people that live in crappy places. And I hope you take these words of advice if you're moving to Southwest Florida. Anything under $200,000 right now in this market is probably going to put you into a crappy neighborhood, unless it's in a 55 and older, and that would have to be a completely different video. And if you're thinking about buying a home and your price range is something like 120 and under, you're gonna be in a really, really bad neighborhood. Even in today's crazy market, these properties in the $120,000 range, 140, even less than that, they sit there. Banks won't finance them, buyers won't buy them. Almost ran a cop over.
No, I didn't.
What the crap, bro? Like, learn how to drive. But guys, on today's video, we're not just going to show you real estate. We're going to show you what life is actually like in Southwest Florida and why we decided to move back over here. Obviously, we have family here, and we have a great time, as you'll see in the following clip. Right now, we are in the Starbucks line, and usually there's about 15 cars in this line. It's actually a pretty long line, but you're never here more than 15 minutes. You can see there's already cars lined up behind us. Easily 15 to 20 cars in the Starbucks line. But in Southwest Florida, people work fast. There we go. We're moving again. So, hey. Oh, you rushing me, bro?
No, Matei,
Are you rushing me? I'm sure that little car behind us is having second thoughts about honking the horn in Russia, since I have 2 Memphis subwoofers in the trunk. And I just popped the trunk on them so that it like amplifies it right underneath the little car.
Rear bites.
Bacon egg bites, okay.
And
I'm definitely gonna think twice about being a jerk. Gotcha. You ain't gonna be honking the horn at people in traffic anymore, are you? Woman with a kid in the car, don't honk your horn at people in traffic, because you don't know what type of crazy people are out there. All you horn honking, you don't know what type of crazy's out there. Don't try, people, because you don't know what type of crazy's out there. If somebody takes too long in the line, just give them a minute. Don't be rushing people. Don't be disrespectful, because you don't know what type of crazy you're going to encounter out there. In our case, today's crazy wasn't too bad, but it could have been a whole lot worse. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pay for her Starbucks. I'm going to figure it out. A guy my size, a guy like me, gets out and pops the trunk. What do you think is about to happen? The last thing you would expect is for him to position 12-inch subwoofers at your car. I'm sure she had some second thoughts about honking the horn at somebody randomly over pretty much something insignificant. Even more, we went ahead and paid her $6 bill at Starbucks, which is kind of like a friendly gesture after what was definitely probably a scary moment for her. Okay, so now we're within Fort Myers city limits. Now, I lived in the cheapest metropolitan area in the country, which is Montgomery, Alabama. And let me tell you something, in case you don't know, when a place is cheap, there's a reason. The area is mostly commercial. There's no pretty businesses or fancy furniture stores here. This is mostly a commercial area. And again, the purpose of this video is to show you what you get for what price in Southwest Florida. Obviously, when you get towards the more affordable properties, there's some type of underlying reason.
You better watch your tone. There's going to be consequences, repercussions for your tone.
All right. I'm sure you meant repercussions, not reproductions. Almost hit this guy. He just flew out of nowhere.
Yeah.
En ese momento, viejo. So we're gonna head over to Harlem Lakes. Now, this community, I think one of the downsides is that it's surrounded by a commercial area. As you can see, this area is very industrialized. So in here, in an inner city neighborhood, for $170,000, you can buy a house in here.
Just a house?
Yeah, you gotta keep it fresh. But as you can see, even though this is not really a neighborhood that has the best of reputation, they are building new houses. Like, that's a new house there with a new roof, new house. And they're building a house right here. But, you know, so even in Southwest Florida, even the bad neighborhoods are having some type of gentrification and some type of building new houses right in the hood here in Fort Myers. The last house, it's a yellow house in the corner on the right. That one's for sale right there. But this yellow one's on the market for $170,000. You can see it's got a very small yard. It's got a flat roof, and it doesn't even seem to have a foundation of a floor, because it's got like a, well, it does, it's got a concrete floor, but you can see it's got a monoslope roof. The reason why they've had to put this sign in front of the house. So you can kind of tell if you're not too aware. I mean, if you need a City of Fort Myers Police Department no trespassing sign on your house, then you've probably had issues with maybe trespassing. Right across the street, they are building new stuff, but of course, who wants to look at the back of a warehouse? I'm gonna see how they've left a container right on the road. Actually, it's not even it's like on the actual road. It's kind of crazy. You can see some houses in this neighborhood have metal bars in the windows, but they are building nice new houses right here. Now, in the last few years, Fort Myers has improved a lot, but this little stretch of road right here, I don't know about in the last year or two, but in previous years, like I'm talking like 2012s and like 2000s, I don't know, whatever. I remember that every year, at least, there was years where more than one, I think one year about 3 or 4 people got killed just in this stretch of road. And while it's definitely got better, it still taints the neighborhood and gives it a bad reputation. Now, about a year ago, we could have got a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this neighborhood, bought it cash, and we skipped on it simply because we know the neighborhood's reputation. So I am really familiar with this area because both the landfill and Garden Street are up here, and that's what I did for a living in Naples for many years. A miserable living at that, but that's what I did. So I was up here twice a week either for landfill or sometimes twice a day, actually. That bare minimum twice a week I was up here. So I'm very familiar with this whole entire area here, Fort Myers. Okay, now there's a house here in this neighborhood. Take a left here. In this neighborhood, there's a house for $140,000. Again, when you get to these price ranges, you're gonna get not the best package when it comes to real estate. So somewhere around here, there's a house. I think it might be that one. I'm not really sure which one it is, but there's a house in this neighborhood here. I think it's this one here where the barbecue stand is. They're asking $140 for that house right there. But as you can see, it's kind of like a neighborhood hangout spot where there's just always people hanging around, which isn't bad, but it definitely doesn't help real estate prices. But again, it just doesn't contribute to high real estate prices. I've worked in this neighborhood here, and again, sometimes you roll through in the daytime, and it just looks like a normal neighborhood of normal people. And but I've worked here, and when I worked in this neighborhood, I'll tell you guys a little story. There was a house we were working in, and we were remodeling the house, and there were so many homeless people that would break in at night that we got to the point where we stopped locking the house, because if we locked the house, they would just break a window. So it was kind of easier to just let them sleep inside the house than lock the house out, because they would break a window every single night. And you still have the beautiful palm trees. I mean, it's still Florida, but you know, again, you'll see there's commercial areas nearby and adjacent. It doesn't exactly promote high real estate prices when you're looking at, you know, beat up cars and garbage and commercial districts. None of that really helps.
It's not?
No, I've never been there. Now, recently, a lot of people have moved to these parts of Fort Myers from out of state, and they seem to be integrating very well into the community. So I'm not going to say you can't do it, but if you got like kids and stuff and families, it's probably not the best option. Check cashing stores, pawn shops, and being adjacent to major intersections where there's a lot of traffic and road noise is another thing that contributes to real estate prices being low. So in this area here, for example, where you have kind of just, you know, pawn shops, bail bonds, that type of business doesn't really help drive up real estate prices.
Store. An ATV's in there, I see it.
Okay.
Stream Motors.
Oh, it's like an ATV store. Cool.
Yeah.
I want to get another one so we can ride together.
We could go look at them and see what's up.
Alright, so now we're kind of in the heart of Fort Myers. Please turn that blinker off. Dude, that is so loud. Ever since we installed that sound system, our blinkers or any, like, let's say like the other day, you were at the gas station. You know when you leave the key in the key fob, it makes that like noise. I was inside the gas station and I couldn't hear the key fob noise because when they replaced the sound system on this truck, they did the whole car. I'm inside the gas station and I can hear the key fob. I'm like, wow, that lets anybody within a 3-mile radius know that the key's in the ignition. Compra aquí, paga aquí. Yeah, buy here, pay here's le habla español, which is not really proper. Hustle free lending. Oh, sure. Yeah, hustle free lending. Sure. Fort Myers is wicked, man. There's all these buy here, pay here's everywhere. I used to have a truck from a buy here, pay here way back in the day before we had, like, when I was like 18 or whatever. And the buy here, pay here, like the payments were weekly. You had to go every single week. You had to go in and make a payment. So you had to go 4 times a month. Every Friday you had to go in there and make a payment. And one day we missed the payment because like we weren't able to make it, and like the next morning the truck was gone. Those buy here pay here's are criminal, man. So obviously, you know, when you're near commercial districts and stuff like that, it's definitely going to affect the real estate property values in a negative way. But it goes beyond that. Now that the area has a huge homeless problem, all these main boulevards and businesses just lend themselves very well for vagrancy. So you have a lot of homeless people coming in and out, and that's definitely not what you want. So if you're thinking about Southwest Florida, I think you have to be above 300,000 or maybe like the 270s, 250s and up to be in a good neighborhood. But there's definitely houses that are bigger or newer that could be $350,000 and still in a bad neighborhood. So if it's a newer house, but it's really big and it's a bad neighborhood, it could easily be $400,000 and still be in a bad neighborhood. So now we're gonna go west of US 41, and prices here go up dramatically. West of 41 in Fort Myers, prices go up and neighborhoods improve. This empty lot is going for $220,000. It is west of US 41 in Fort Myers, and it is less than 8,000 square feet. So you'll see the price difference when you're west of US 41 in the more historic part of the city, in the area where, like I said, Edison and Ford had their Windsor homes. So while an entire house on the other side of US 41, on the east side of 41, an entire house in a bad neighborhood is about $170 for $220. I mean, you're talking a whole $50,000 more. You can get a very tiny lot in a neighborhood like this, which honestly doesn't look that much different than the neighborhoods on the other side. So you're probably, in fact, if I walk through here, which is what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to walk. There's actually the same no trespassing by order of Fort Myers Police Department. So it doesn't seem like it's that much different. You even have the same City of Fort Myers no trespassing sign. So why is this neighborhood here worth that much more? Well, you're closer to the beaches. You're on the other side of the congestion, and you have easier access to downtown and the historic part of the city. Would I pay $220,000 for 7,800 square feet lot in a neighborhood that really doesn't look all that impressive? I personally probably wouldn't. But if that's what they're asking, then it's probably in the ballpark of what somebody would be willing to pay. Now, this is within the city of Fort Myers, where building codes are pretty strict. Now, there's a few things you don't see in the asking price. One, you're within the city of Fort Myers, which means you have access to stuff like this. You have city sewage. You don't have to have a septic tank. You can just hook up to the city. So you'll have electricity, you'll have water coming in from the city, and sewage going out. And all that makes this neighborhood be much more attractive. But you can see the homes, even though they're kind of older, they're not neglected, they're not in bad shape. They're actually beautiful historic homes. And there's beautiful historic homes on the other side of US 41. But the neighborhoods are just a little bit more run down. But overall, there isn't really that much aesthetically of a difference between these neighborhoods. In fact, you can tell by the size of these houses that they weren't impressive houses when they were built. They were just little tiny winter cabins. Forget proximity to downtown Fort Myers, visible from the background. On the back street, there's a small house here going for nearly $800,000. Even though there's a duplex next door with metal bars in the windows, this little house here is going for $798,000. It does have a pool, but think about that. Almost just shy of $800,000. And you have a duplex next door with metal bars on the windows. It almost looks like a mobile home, but it does have a pool. I think I wouldn't be a buyer on this one, but somebody may actually snag this up. At least the one next to it has some type of historical character, even though it's got a window shaker cut out. I'm really not seeing where these prices are coming from. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful historic neighborhood, but not at that price tag. At least not for me. This gorgeous historical home is now pending a little over $1 million. It is literally where you can walk to downtown Fort Myers in a beautiful historic district. It's sitting on almost half an acre. So what do you get for about $1 million in Fort Myers? As you can see, the roads are paved. There's a sidewalk, tree-lined avenues with royal palm trees and oak trees. A beautiful historic home of a decent size with a generous almost half-acre lot. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I would actually, if I had $1 million and I was in the market, I would have actually taken this house, assuming the interior and condition of the home is good, because it's absolutely gorgeous out here. It's a historic neighborhood. There's not too much of that in Florida. You have these beautiful oak trees with some staghorns, nice sidewalk. You can walk to downtown Fort Myers. I can understand how this house is literally $1 million. The other one we looked at $800,000, I would have definitely skipped on that one. But this house, I definitely see the value here. In fact, that home that we just looked at is about a block away from the Edison estate. As you can see, majestic Cuban royal palm trees and very tall coconut trees. I can see how that house is worth $1 million simply because of where it is. You can literally walk to downtown Fort Myers, where there's restaurants, the waterfront, and of course historic places like the Edison home are right here, with tree-lined avenues like this right here, majestic Cuban palm trees. Pretty much self-explanatory why this area would draw higher real estate prices. And when you're here in Fort Myers, underneath these royal Cuban palm trees, coconut trees, while the rest of the country is covered in snow or cloud cover like today, for some reason today is a perfect example where we're looking at beautiful blue skies here in Fort Myers, but the rest of the country is actually dealing with a little bit different of a situation. From North Florida onward, about 90% of the United States, if not more, is under cloud cover. But here, we're looking at blue skies. Tropical plants like these beautiful mangoes. I can definitely see why that house went for $1 million. And if in the future it was worth more, I'd even understand that. I can literally smell the salt water from the ocean here. Beautiful breezes coming from the Gulf of Mexico. What other channel gives you a tour from the hoods to the mansions all in one video? Now we're on McGregor, heading south to Fort Myers. There's a reason why Fort Myers is called the City of Palms. And this is it. Thousands and thousands of royal Cuban palm trees majestically decorate the beautiful city of Fort Myers, giving it the name the City of Palms. So now we're gonna hop on over to Cape Coral. I really like the historic homes and these Cuban royal palm trees, but I understand that the average person moving to Florida cares less about the historical vibes and more about a big new house with a canal back. So that's why we're hopping over to Cape Coral. Go women, run! You guys have been asking me why I don't make more edited videos, and I told you guys, once I'm able to live off YouTube and this is what I do, you'll get better quality videos. But in the process of trying to grow the YouTube channel, we have to just make a lot of videos that are kind of not the best quality. But how can I focus on making quality videos when I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel? You just can't do both things at once. A lot of people will start a YouTube channel with no subscribers and they'll try to make quality videos, but they don't understand what it takes to grow the channel is something different. The pan is a tow by plane.
I think it's tow by plane.
Cape Coral is technically the largest city in Southwest Florida by population. Alright guys, welcome to Cape Coral. Now there are condos and cheaper options in Cape Coral. This empty lot right here in Cape Coral is going for $200,000. Right here. Just hit the marker. Here's the for sale sign. Okay, I'm lost, people. Yes, it's windy. It's windy. This one just hit the market for $825,000. Looks about the same. Okay, so that home right there was in the 800,000s, and it was so windy that I had to do a talk over. But that's what in the $800,000 price range will get you in the area of Cape Coral. The ones that are on the water are going to be pushing $3 million if they have a good view that's directly on the Caloosahatchee River. Anything on a canal will push you from the 1 million point all the way up to the 2 million, depending if it's new or old. All right, guys, so we're here in Cape Coral. We talked about showing you guys some mornings with Cape Coral. I'm sorry it's so windy today. I know the audio is going to sound horrible, but as you can see here on this lot, there's these pipes on it, and you're probably wondering, what is up with the pipes and the sticks on the lot? These are burrowing owl nests, and if a burrowing owl decides that it wants to make a nest on your empty lot, guess what? You are now not allowed to build on your property a house because it is protected. So let's say you pay $400,000 for a piece of land like this, and next thing you know, a burrowing owl decides that it wants to live on your lot. The city of Cape Coral comes out, puts these stakes, and lets you know, hey, this is a natural sanctuary you're now in charge of here. You're not allowed to build. As you can see, there's a new house being built right over there, and those new houses with a canal out back that size are going for about $2 million in this part of Cape Coral. There's actually a lot for sale over here, and it is going for $400,000. However, despite the price tag of $400,000, it looks like there's also burrowing owl nest on this lot, which means that they're not allowed to build on this lot. Now, I don't know how long these burrowing owls live for, but imagine paying $400,000 for a piece of land, and now you're not allowed to build on it because there's a burrowing owl living on this nest site. So imagine $400,000 for a piece of land that is pretty much unbuildable. Now, I think there may be a service where perhaps they can move them or something. I'm not sure, but hey, in the meantime, you can always plant a mango tree on your empty lot. And I'm pretty sure the city keeps track of all these nesting sites, and there's a map for it, and they'll want an explanation. Oh, if you have some good contacts down there in City Hall, you might be able to pull it off. My truck looks a whole lot nicer in a good neighborhood. All right, guys, so finally, we're gonna finish here at a $3.2 million home. Behind it is the Caloosahatchee River, which is the river we crossed when we came across the Cape Coral Bridge. So with a good view, a bigger house like this, it's currently going for $3.2 million. So there it is. That is a tour of what it costs to live in Southwest Florida. Hope you guys liked the video, but there's nothing like this on the internet right now. All right, guys, so we're in downtown Cape Coral. We're gonna get something to eat here in Cape Coral. See a German flag right there. There's a lot of German flags in Cape Coral. I guess there must be a little German community here. All right, guys, so we're gonna eat here at El Mesón Camagüeyano, which is in downtown Cape Coral. I'm originally from Camagüey, Cuba. That's where I was born. For there to be a Camagüey themed restaurant here, that's actually really good food as well. And you can see by the door the clay pots that I mentioned that represent Camagüey. Of course, it's become mainstream. People from other parts of Cuba now put these things up, and even from other places, as it's become pretty popular in South Florida. But originally, if you see these clay pots like this, it represents Camagüey, the land where I was born. This is called ropa vieja, which is a Cuban shredded meat, and picadillo, which is ground beef. This is Pomona Park. In here, you can buy a mobile home or even a house for under $200,000. Some mobile homes will even be as little as $100,000. You're wondering, is there a catch? Why is it so affordable? Well, for one, the neighborhood is home to predators, the ones that like to go looking for your family. That is definitely not cool. And for the people that live in this neighborhood, all you have to do is go on the Lee County website for the sheriff's office. You can see that there's a concentration of these individuals. Does that mean everybody in this neighborhood's bad? No. But if you have a family and kids, why the crap would you put them in a neighborhood where there's already people that dedicate themselves to doing that type of thing? May not look that bad to you now, but there's a reason why this neighborhood is so affordable. So you may think you found yourself a deal here in Pomona Park. A house for under $170,000 or a mobile home for under $100,000 in beautiful Southwest Florida. What could possibly go wrong, right? Let me tell you, this neighborhood's not as good as you would think it is. There's definitely a reason why you do not want to put your family in this neighborhood. On this street here, there's a house for sale for about $120,000. And you might think, what could possibly go wrong with a house in a neighborhood that affordable? Well, all I can say is, watch cops on TV. This area has a lot of problems, from gangs to shootouts to complete problems of addiction. It's not where you want to put your family. Tell me it's not the hood. Okay.
So you buy
So that's the house that was for sale. The homeowner came out. He said he sold it for, I think, $120, and he tried to explain to me how it's a great neighborhood. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, and he actually was really pushy and made me uncomfortable. But anyways, take a left and let's get out of here. Yeah, guys, so in here in Pomona Park, yes, you can get a house. And he told me, you know what he told me? He goes, oh, you know, behind the Ace Hardware, it's really good. That's where we're at. You saw the video I recorded where the people were like strung out?
Yeah.
Where the guy was like zombied out?
Yeah.
That's behind the Ace Hardware.
Ugh.
So, but no, guys, you don't want to put your family in these places. It may not look bad, but when you spend some time out here, you'll realize that these neighborhoods are really, really bad. There's an F situation where people are on that. When people get on the H and the F, man, there's no, you know, when you have a neighborhood where there's that many people on that stuff, it's hard to get that neighborhood. I mean, that's just, at that point, the neighborhood's gone. And if you guys remember my last video where we recorded here, it was a video about Lee County, and I'll show you guys the cover photo for that. So if you've seen these really affordable houses here in North Fort Myers and Suncoast Estates and Pomona Park, I was just going to tell you, if you're a single guy and you got nothing to worry about, you might make it. But if you got a family, you don't want to see all that stuff, you may not want to be there.